Hello there. Hello there. And welcome to another episode of Articulate Thoughts, a personal blog of mine where I express ideas, thoughts, experiences, and observations about conscious dance, which is a movement practice that uses dance as a form of moving meditation. And today's episode is titled Call and Return. And this is a interesting dynamic that takes place all the time, and it also directly relates to the law of leverage, which is a law that states there's a constant interaction of dynamics of polarity. So when something is pushed, something is pulled. When there is an action, there is a reaction. And I guess in the grand scale of things, everyone always wants to know what happens when the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. So there's this dynamic that happens all the time, and I feel it very, very intensely when I listen to music. I've had this intensely intimate relationship with music all my life. Every time I hear music, or just like, music is a constant thing. It's kind of always around in some way, shape, or form. And there's just certain moments where a particular melody or a particular beat just pulls me in, and it just creates this reaction in my body and or in my mind or in my emotions. And it's just a very interesting thing how a sound can cause such a drastic reaction. And I think with dance, it's even more deep. I think it goes from a thought to a feeling to a sensation in the body that has to be expressed and released. And if it's not, then this tension builds up, and there's just this really awkward, uncomfortable feeling. And the only way to release it is to dance and to move. And it even gets to a point where the interaction between the music and the dancing, it's there's no more thinking, it's pure feeling. And I guess some people would call this like a flow state or just like a higher state of consciousness. um for me, like, it's kind of like tapping into, like, yeah, a higher state of consciousness, almost like the collective consciousness of all humans throughout the course of time, or maybe the consciousness of mother nature, or it's just something that I can't explain in words, but I just know that there's some sort of connection, and it's kind of moving me in a very intimate way internally. And that's where the external dancing movement comes from. It's just a feeling that's inside that's driving this force. And it's really intriguing for me because it's just something that I do because it feels good, and I explore it a lot. And throughout the years, I've noticed there's this reaction that I get out of people sometimes when I go out in public and I dance, at a concert or at a rave, or in you know conscious dance classes or house parties or whatever. And people come up to me and they say, "There's something, like, I'm really intrigued by your dancing," or like, you dance really well. Are you a professional? Like, that's really cool. It's very inspiring. It's getting me to think about moving ways I never thought of. So, like, keep doing what you're doing. And that's overall the overall message that I get from these people that approach me and compliment how I dance. And it's very flattering and it's very honorable. But I always like ask, like, what was I going through, or like what was I experiencing when that person was observing me dance. And it typically like breaks down into this being in this like flow state, or being in this energetic dance with the music. And for me, songs and music are like a living entity. It's like a song is like a person. And I kind of came to this conclusion when I made the like analogy of listening to a song that I had this like super super like intense crush on. And whenever I'm not listening to that song, I feel like I'm thinking about the song. I'm like thinking about the beat and the melody and the rhythm and all the techniques that the producer used to put this thing together, and how it's composed and the arrangement. And I'm just analyzing it, and I'm just like, I want to listen to this song. I want to listen to this song. And then, as soon as I have a free time, I'll just go back and like listen to this song. I'm like, oh yeah, this is so nice. Like, it's totally like having a crush on a girl, and just like, man, I just want to be with this person. I just want to like hear their voice, and you know get into their mind, and just like hold their hand or whatever it is, right? It's just, and like it totally is that for me. Like, it's just, a song is like a person. And that dance is like a very intimate like connection. It's like an acknowledgement of the presence of that song, and this is how I want to react. And creates like this energetic dynamic of call and return. Like the music is calling and just wants to be acknowledged, and I'm returning by just being one with the music, with my body and my movement. And you know, I'm pretty sure I'm like describing all this, and there's like a strong correlation to for like a very intense physical, intimate, sexual interaction with some people. That's probably what it sounds like, and that's what it feels like. And it's something that I feel not a lot of people have experienced. Like I think a lot of people have experienced like that sexual aspect with another person, but maybe not so much with music and dance. So I don't know. That just something that's been on my mind the past couple of days, and I hope that is some food for thought for some people to kind of nibble on and maybe digest it, and hopefully inspire someone to get on the dance floor and just kind of try out, these ideas and think about some of the things I've said, and hopefully create a more intimate dynamic with music and your body and feeling that connection. And if not, inshallah.